To create drama or highlight some element in our paintings, what we can do is generate contrast. Of course, colors themselves contrast with each other, but there are more specific ways to create contrast. One would be the cool/warm contrast. We can divide the colors of our color wheel into cool ones, for example, greens and blues, and in warm ones, that is, oranges and reds. A cool color placed next to a warm one will contrast. For example, in this landscape by Paul Cézanne, we see how the cool tones of the sea and the sky contrast with the warm colors of the houses. Another form of contrast is the light/dark contrast. Light colors contrast when they are next to dark colors. Thus, an illuminated object surrounded by a dark background will generate a dramatic image. This contrast was widely used by Baroque artists. The next contrast is that of complementary colors. As we saw earlier, complementary colors are those that are opposite each other on the color wheel. If we talk only about hue, this would be the maximum form of contrast. But at the same time, these colors look good together. Let's say they balance each other. In this painting, we see that the green of the dress harmonizes with the red of the bed, at the same time that it highlights the figure of the woman. She becomes the focal point of the composition. Another way to contrast is through saturation. Colors will contrast when they are next to others that are not saturated, that is, that are more grayish. I think this is a good way to handle color, to work our painting with plenty of grays, and thus we can accentuate without much effort the colors that we want to be more striking in our composition. The sixth contrast is that of size. Small accents will appear more contrasting than shapes of similar sizes. In this painting by Van Gogh, the little stars look bright because they are surrounded by areas of blue. The last contrast is a simultaneous contrast. When one color surrounds another, it modifies it or accentuates its contrast. In this example, the small square on the left appears blue because it is surrounded by gray. Instead, the small square on the right looks gray because it is surrounded by blue. But actually, both squares are the same color. Color will always be affected by what is around it. In this other example, we see that the two circles are very different. The one on the left appears darker than the one on the right. But again, the circles are the same color. Understanding this is very important, because the same color can look very different in our painting depending on where we put it. Now, we can intuitively choose the colors that our painting will have, but there are also some guides that can help us choose what color to use to achieve a harmonious result. The easiest way to create harmony is monochrome, using a single color in its different values from light to dark. All the tones will belong to the same hue, so they will look good together. Another simple way is to use analogous colors, that is, those that are close on the color wheel. It could be, for example, orange, red, and brown. These colors harmonize because they are similar. Another option is complementary harmony. As we said before, complementary colors contrast, but they look good together. They create a balance between the two. We could also divide one of them. For example, a pair of complementary colors are yellow and violet. But instead of violet, we use the two closest colors, ultramarine and crimson. It's a less contrasting option than using the complementary colors directly. Now, if we open this triangle a bit more, we will have a triad, three colors that are the same distance apart. In this case, the three primaries. But we could choose any three colors that are the same distance apart. That is, the triangle can point in any direction, as in this case in which it is pointing towards the three secondary colors. Triads are quite stable, but at the same time, not monotonous at all. We can of course balance more than one pair of complementary colors. In this painting by Gauguin, we see that red is balanced by green and violet by yellow. Of course, we could balance more than 2 pairs of complementaries. In this painting by Picasso, yellow balances violet, green balances red, and blue balances orange. That would be the easiest way to create color harmonies. I repeat, choosing the right combination of colors can be an intuitive exercise. This is only a guide for those occasions in which we do not know what color to choose. But it is definitely not about rules that must be followed to the letter. And you already know, any questions you have on this subject, I can gladly help you.